What exactly is official time? It sounds innocent enough, but it is far from it. Official time means federal government employees can do work for their labor union. They do this union work during their regular paid work hours. Taxpayers, not the unions, foot the bill for these salaries. This isn't about employees volunteering after work. This is about paid time, on the government clock. Imagine a postal worker sorting union newsletters instead of your mail. Imagine an IRS agent negotiating union benefits instead of helping taxpayers. This is the reality of official time across the federal government, a practice that costs you directly. This practice is a massive subsidy to government unions. It's a special privilege not typically afforded to private sector unions. In the private sector, unions use their members' dues to pay for union activities. Union officials are paid by the union, not by the company's customers. But in the federal government, taxpayers are forced to pick up the tab. This means your hard-earned tax dollars are paying federal employees to advance the union's agenda. This might include grievance procedures, lobbying, or internal union business. The work they are paid to do for the public often takes a back seat. The core issue is one of fundamental fairness and proper use of public funds. Why should taxpayers fund the operations of a private organization? Government unions are, at their heart, private entities. They advocate for their members' interests, which is their right. However, they should use their own resources to do so. When the government pays employees to conduct union business, it blurs the lines. It effectively makes taxpayers unwilling donors to union causes. This diversion of resources is significant, impacting government efficiency and your wallet. This isn't just a minor accounting detail, it's a direct cost that adds up quickly. Every hour a government employee spends on union business is an hour not spent serving the public. It's an hour paid for by taxpayers who expect their money to fund public services, not private union operations. The question must be asked, is this a fair deal for the American taxpayer? Many believe it is not. It is a system that benefits union bosses and their organizations, often at the expense of the very people who pay their salaries and expect diligent government service in return. The financial burden of official time on taxpayers is truly staggering. We are not talking about a few dollars here and there. Estimates suggest that millions of work hours are spent by federal employees on union activities each year. These hours translate into hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars annually. This is money that could be used for essential public services. It could go towards improving veterans' care, or strengthening national defense, or even reducing the national debt. Instead, it is funneled into paying government workers to essentially work for their union, not for the American people. Think about the impact on public service delivery. When a federal employee is on official time, they are not performing their assigned government duties. This means that other employees might have to pick up the slack, or more likely, the work simply doesn't get done as quickly or efficiently. This can lead to backlogs in processing applications, delays in responding to citizen inquiries, and an overall reduction in the quality of government services. Taxpayers are paying for a full day's work for public benefit, but they are often receiving something far less due to this diversion of labor to union tasks. This diversion of resources is a significant drain. Consider the budget of any federal agency. A portion of that budget, meant for serving the public, is instead allocated to subsidizing union activities. This isn't about workers' rights to organize. That right is not in question. This is about who pays for the time spent on union business during the workday. The current system forces taxpayers to fund activities that are primarily for the benefit of the union and its members, not the general public. It's an inefficient use of limited taxpayer dollars, plain and simple. The scale of this expenditure demands scrutiny. It is not a minor perk, it is a substantial financial commitment extracted from the public purse. For too long, this practice has flown under the radar. But as government budgets tighten and public services face strain, every dollar must be accounted for. The hundreds of millions spent on official time represent a significant opportunity cost. These are resources that could be directly applied to the functions of government that citizens rely on daily, rather than subsidizing the internal operations and advocacy of public sector unions. Official time is not just used for routine administrative tasks within the union. A significant portion of this taxpayer-funded time is often dedicated to political organizing and lobbying efforts. This means that federal employees, while being paid by you, the taxpayer, could be working to advance specific political agendas. They might be organizing rallies, drafting letters to lawmakers, or coordinating phone banks to support or oppose legislation. These are inherently political activities. and you are paying for them, whether you agree with the union's stance or not. This practice directly injects taxpayer money into partisan politics. Government employee unions frequently endorse specific political candidates and align with particular political parties. When official time is used to support these political activities, public funds are effectively subsidizing one side of the political spectrum. This is fundamentally unfair to taxpayers who may hold different political beliefs. They are forced to contribute to political causes they may strongly oppose. It turns government workplaces into hubs for taxpayer-funded political activism, which is not their intended purpose. This is a clear abuse of taxpayer funds and a distortion of the democratic process. Public money should be used for public purposes, not to bolster the political power of private organizations like unions. Unions have every right to engage in political advocacy. However, they should fund these activities through their own members' voluntary contributions and dues. Forcing taxpayers to underwrite their political machinery gives these unions an unfair advantage and undermines the principle of politically neutral government service. It creates an uneven playing field in the political arena. Unions are, at their core, private organizations with their own specific interests and agendas. While they play a role in labor relations, their political activities should be self-funded. The current system of official time allows them to leverage taxpayer resources for their political goals. This means your tax dollars could be used to lobby for policies that might not be in your best interest, or that might even be detrimental to the broader public good. It is a system ripe for reform, demanding that unions operate their political arms on their own dime, not the taxpayers. Public policy decisions should be made by our elected officials. These are the individuals accountable to all voters, not just a select group. Union bosses, on the other hand, are primarily accountable to their membership. When taxpayer-funded official time allows union employees to heavily influence policy from within government agencies, it skews the democratic process. It gives an unelected special interest group an outsized voice in shaping the laws and regulations that affect everyone. This is not how a representative democracy is supposed to function. Policy should reflect the will of the people, not the demands of taxpayer-subsidized lobbyists. The practice of official time effectively gives unions a taxpayer-funded lobbying arm embedded within the government itself. Employees paid by the public are spending their work hours advocating for union positions, sometimes even on matters of public policy that go far beyond workplace conditions. This creates an inherent conflict of interest. It means that while taxpayers expect government employees to be working for them, some are instead working to advance the union's agenda, using public resources to do so. This internal lobbying distorts transparent governance and can lead to policies that benefit the union rather than the public at large. Thankfully, there is a legislative solution on the table, the Protecting Taxpayers' Wallets Act. This important piece of legislation aims to fix this problem directly. Its purpose is straightforward: to stop taxpayer money from being used to pay for official time. If enacted, unions would be required to pay for their own activities and the time their representatives spend on union business. This means union leaders would have to use their own funds, likely from member dues, to cover these costs. It puts the financial responsibility where it belongs, on the private organization, not the public. Congress has a responsibility to act. Ending the taxpayer subsidy for official time is a matter of fairness, accountability, and good governance. Public money should be dedicated to public services and the common good, not to funding the political or administrative activities of private union organizations. Passing the Protecting Taxpayers' Wallets Act would be a significant step towards ensuring that government resources are used wisely and that public policy is determined by elected representatives, free from the undue influence of taxpayer-funded union operations. It's time to stop forcing taxpayers to bankroll union bosses and their political games.